Wow.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. Goodbye.
Fernando ready, and the strike two pitch is hit back to the box, dribbling to second. Samuel on the bag, throws to first, double play.
Hit toward the hole, Jeter backhands from the outfield grass. Got him! He's done it.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
There's a drive. It's a bullet. Was there any doubt? Shohei Ohtani arrives in October. Judge takes one. Deep left field. A grand slam. And the Yankees have the lead.
Here's Ramon Urias. Nice play by Volpe. Got him!
Swing to right center field. Diving play. A walk-off catch. Mookie.
Castillo, Soto, a high fly ball to center. Thomas backing up. Thomas at the track. And Juan Soto! A three-run home run! Here's 2-0. Is
Into center field, and that's the ball game. 2-2 on Stanton with Judge at first. And a swing and a miss for strike three. Got him swinging! A 6-out save for Luke Weaver.
Freeman threw 12 times in this one. He's going to reach again, but out the center field goes Silla. Here comes Ohtani. Here comes the throw from Nimmo. Not in time.
Goes the distance. Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
Wow. 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 I know we normally don't curse on these programs here on the network, but I'll make an exception. Holy shit. What a start to this series, man. What a start. An unbelievable, incredible start to what should be a World Series for the ages. I mean, if game 1 is an indication of what the rest of the series holds, I think this series is going to be not just the greatest series of our lifetimes, but it might even exceed that. And that is extremely high expectations already. I mean, what an incredible game 1. What an incredible performance by both the Yankees and the Dodgers. Credit to the Dodgers for winning this game. Credit to, Dave Roberts, Freddie Freeman. Absolutely. Let's watch that again. I mean, that grand slam is one for the ages, folks. An absolute monster bomb by Freddie Freeman.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
This is a moment that's going to be remembered in history forever and ever. It's going to be one of the greatest golden moments of our lifetimes and in our generation. Freddie Freeman with a walk-off grand slam, an absolute tank in the bottom of the 10th inning with the Dodgers down by a run, down to their final out. It looked increasingly likely like the Yankees were going to take a 1-0 win and steal one in LA. But Freddie Freeman said, nope, the Dodgers win this game. They pull it out. Freddie Freeman with his Kirk Gibson moment. What a game. What a win by the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you guys want to join me for a post-game show here to recap game one of this World Series and to just give you a reaction and look ahead to game two, here's the link down below. Go ahead, click on that link in the comment section. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to be a part of it, just go ahead and message me and I'll be able to send you the link and we'll have some fun here. It's going to be a short show, but wow. What an incredible game one. What a start to this series. Let's talk about the Dodgers. I think the reason why the Dodgers won was because the teams that have won in this postseason, what have they done? They've put pressure and put pressure and put more pressure, and then eventually the opposition breaks. And that's what happened for the Dodgers. You know, the Dodgers had a lot of chances early. They had a lot of opportunities, a lot of guys on base, but they just couldn't get them in. And I think we have a group chat in our MI6 Sports Network, and I said, the Dodgers got to get these guys in. Coming into this series, what did we say? On our show last night and on the show that we did a couple of days ago, we said that the team that takes advantage of their opportunities, the team that is clutch the most, will end up winning this series because it just takes, you got to bring those runners in because you're going to have base runners because you have these potent offenses by both of these two teams. So you're going to have a lot of base runners on both sides. I think this game started out really good. Both pitchers, Jack Flaherty and Garrett Cole, were on their game. Garrett Cole, I felt like early was a little bit jumpy. He threw a lot of pitches that, the Dodgers simply should have taken advantage of. I mean, first pitch of the game for Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani hits that ball to deep right field, and it's caught by Juan Soto. But you were just thinking to yourself, oh, my God, man, like that should have been a home run. I mean, he just missed the ball. And then there was, I think, four total pitches that batters just, barreled up, but they just missed it. And then Jack Flaherty on the other side, he was kind of wild. He was, shutting them down, but he didn't have his pinpoint command, but he didn't need to because the Yankees were just swinging at everything. They were swinging at pitches up, down, left, right. Didn't matter if it was in the strike zone. Didn't matter if it was out of the strike zone. They were swinging at it. But the Dodgers, they kept putting pressure. Guys like Edman, guys like, Shohei with his double. And then on the misplay by Gleyber Torres, it turns into a triple. And then he eventually scores on a Mookie Betts sacrifice fly. They kept putting pressure. A lot of base runners, especially in the late innings against that Yankee bullpen. And what did we say last night as well? That the Yankees' vulnerability is guys outside of Weaver and Clay Holmes. Who's going to step up? Kahnle's kind of been, hit or miss this entire postseason. Cousins has never been on this big stage. You talk about the other guys into the bullpen. We'll talk about Cortez because I got a whole rant I need to get into, and I need to rip the hell out of Aaron Boone for that absolutely inexcusable, pathetic decision to bring in Nestor Cortez. But you talk about that bullpen, like who can you trust outside of Luke Weaver? That was one of the biggest weaknesses, and the Dodgers, to their credit, they took advantage. Outside of Luke Weaver, they kept putting pressure. They put pressure against Kahnle. They put pressure against Holmes. I thought Aaron Boone made a stupid decision to pull Garrett Cole. He was at 88 pitches through 7 innings. Like, you don't take him out. Let him go through the 7th inning. Let him go through the trouble. This is a World Series. Dave Roberts, he let his starter go through until he gave up the home run to Giancarlo Stanton, but you don't do that. But the Dodgers, to their credit, they kept putting pressure. They kept putting pressure. They kept putting pressure. Whether it was they were scoring or not, it didn't matter. They kept putting pressure. They kept putting pressure. They kept putting pressure, putting more and more and more pressure. And ultimately, the dam broke for the Yankees. And Freddie Freeman with his Kirk Gibson moment in game one, a hobbled Freddie Freeman comes in and launches a walk-off grand slam. And this is a huge boost now because like I said earlier, and like I said on the shows, you have to win. You have to steal a Garrett Cole start. And they did that tonight. You have to steal a game where Garrett Cole pitches. You did that tonight. The series is now in favor of the Los Angeles Dodgers. But I think this series is setting up for a great 7-game series. It'll be one for the ages. I cannot wait for it. And then I just want to give I want to stay in the Dodgers for a little bit before we go to the Yankees side of things. Is as we got my guy Ben Cruz on the program. Ben, we said on our show yesterday and on Kicking It with Cruz, and we said on the reaction show that me and Loro did, this is going to be the greatest World Series of our lifetimes. And I think we both had an expectation that this series is going to be good. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be nail-biting. But wow, what a game one. And if this game one is an indication of how this series will unfold, I think this series will somehow, some way even surpass our expectations. And it will be like just one of the greatest World Series of all time. It will be an absolute epic series for the ages, my friend. How are you doing? Welcome to this post-game show. We hope to do more of these post-game shows, maybe like after every game. But wow, what an incredible game one win for the Dodgers.
Yeah, just you want to talk about everything that we pretty much mentioned before this overall series, and you had the stars on both sides going back and forth at it. And, we kind of predicted kind of the way things were going to kind of go yesterday on our show. At least I said the Yankees were going to win game one. And it looked that way for at least a little bit until it wasn't. And I'll talk quickly about that. But Garrett Cole and Jack Flaherty, I thought, were phenomenal. Of course, Cole only had 4 strikeouts, but for the most part, his stuff was pretty good. The Dodgers had countless opportunities with guys on base, twice with guys with less than one out, with guys on third base, and the Yankees did a pretty good job of being able to limit the damage. But the biggest play I thought in the game was one of the plays during, I think it was when the Yankees had a 2-1 lead. Tommy Edman had a dive and play in the middle, and that could have at least gotten the Yankees up to 2 runs. Instead, he limits the damage there. Verdugo strikes out, and then Mook gets a chance to get the sac fly. And then when the Yankees take the lead, when Volpe, of course. Now, the biggest thing about that overall extra innings was Jazz Chisholm. And we talked about Jazz Chisholm had to step up. Jazz Chisholm got a base hit. He stole 2 bags. And if the Dodgers were playing in, Volpe's ball would have been a double play, probably. Instead, Edman bobbles it. Looked like the Yankees were going to win this game after, a hiccup that Edman had. But then Jake Cousins comes in, and they had the bottom of the order. And I told myself, I said, if you're the Yankees, the last thing you want to do is to get one guy on base, because that creates the traffic, and it has a chance for that top half of the order to have one thing happen. We talked about before the overall series that with both of these teams, one thing can change it in an instant in terms of a run, in terms of an overall outcome. And this, of course, was a perfect example of that. Obviously Will Smith had a really tough series, and last series and he had a really tough game until tonight. He had the go-ahead sac fly, but then of course he had the pop-up against Clay Holmes that looked like it was going to be part of the reason why they lost. And of course he had the fly out in the bottom half of that last part of the inning. So, I mean, just absolutely crazy. The Gavin Lux walk was the massive tone setter. And then Oswaldo Cabrera came in to play second base. And I thought the ball at first was going to be a double play. I thought that he was going to make a great diving play, and at least there was going to be 1 out. Instead, there was no outs. And then Shohei came up, and I'm like, oh, Shohei Ohtani is about to just park on 500 feet. And Cortez came in, and Nestor has not pitched one outing all postseason. I thought to myself, what in the world has Aaron Boone been doing this overall entire game? And I pretty much praised Aaron Boone leading up to this game tonight. I said he hasn't really made a ton of mistakes and not a lot of questionable calls. But tonight was the first time it felt like forever that I'm like, I don't know. He pulled Garrett Cole early, I felt, and he got away with it. And then, putting Cousins in, I don't really mind it. But then instead of putting in Tim Hill, who's been pretty good, the submarine guy against Shohei Ohtani, they put in Nestor Cortez, who has not pitched a single pitch in the postseason, especially when the game is on the line, when your team is trying to steal the first game of the series. And then Freddie comes up. Now, I'm not opposed to them walking Mookie. Mookie has shown the theatrics when the game's on the line, but he's also had the theatrics on the other side. I've seen it many times. So I thought it was really ballsy. Freddie Freeman's a great hitter, left on left. And I told myself, man, if he can get one pitch and if Nestor throws across the middle of the plate, who knows what happens, but hopefully he gives it a ride. And who would have thought my brother and I saw that pitch and he cranked it and my brother couldn't stop screaming. And man, that was just absolutely incredible. And like you mentioned, if this was the first game of what's going to be coming for the remainder of this series, it's going to be an absolute dandy of an overall World Series. And the fun part is none of our teams aren't even playing in it, so we could just overall enjoyment. If I had to be one of these type of fans, I think I'd be losing my everything in my life, essentially. So just absolutely crazy. And I just want game 2 already right now. That was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Ben, I think for the Dodgers, the reason why they ultimately won it was because they just kept putting pressure and more pressure and more pressure on the Yankees with various base runners. And like we talked about on other shows, that bullpen for the Yankees, outside of Weaver, maybe Clay Holmes, even though he's been a little hit or miss, you don't know who's reliable in that bullpen. You don't know who to trust. A lot of those guys, Tim Hill, Cousins, Canley, they've had a lot of moments where they've been hit or miss. And also, with Nestor Cortez, like I said, he hadn't pitched in a month, and I can't wait to get into that. But for the Dodgers, it was just putting base runners after base runners after base runners. Tommy Edman, absolute incredible defensive play to save at least a run in that in that top of the 6th inning, I believe. But that was incredible. Like, I thought that he was definitely one of the players of the game. Freeman, of course, with that bomb. Freeman, like when Freeman came up, I was like, dude, I think when I texted you when Shohei came up and when Freeman came up, I was like, dude, it's over, because Nestor Cortez hadn't pitched in a month. And I'll get into this right now. If you're Aaron Boone, I thought Aaron Boone looked scared of the moment tonight. I thought Aaron Boone showed that he was managing his first ever World Series, because Dave Roberts let his starter go until his starter gave it up, which was the Stanton home run. And let me say this about the Stanton home run. Nobody in New York, regardless of how this series ends, if the Yankees win it, if the Dodgers win it, regardless of how this series ends, nobody in New York City can ever hate or boo Giancarlo Stanton again. Especially the postseason that he's had, especially that monster home run that he had tonight. Nobody can hate on him for what his past with the Yankees, the start to his career, where he was always hurt, he was always striking out a lot. Nobody can ever hate on him again. It reminds me of Barry Zito's renaissance with the Giants, where he was kind of like a hated villain. He was not really good with the Giants early, and then had an incredible postseason 2012, and then ended up having a great year, and ended up becoming one of the heroes in San Francisco. But about Boone. Aaron Boone, what are you doing, dude? Like, when I saw Aaron Boone trot to the mound, Shohei was like, okay, who are they calling up? Are they calling up Cortez, or are they calling Hill? Even the announcers didn't know who they were calling. It was kind of like a guessing game. When I saw Nestor Cortez walk out of that bullpen, I was like, it's over. I don't even have to watch another second. I don't even have to watch another minute. I know he's going to give it up, because he hadn't pitched in a month. It's like, what are you doing, Aaron Boone? Your guy hasn't pitched in over a month. He's going to be super rusty, which is going to lead to him like walking everybody, or he's going to overcompensate and he's going to throw one right down the middle. And you're facing his first three batters he would face is Shohei, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, that is just such a stupid, idiotic decision by Aaron Boone. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Yankee fans are ripping on him, and rightfully so, because that decision, I think, cost Aaron Boone and the Yankees tonight. Because if he puts in Tim Hill, I'm not saying Tim Hill wouldn't have given it up. He may have, who knows? But it's still a better situation because he's a guy that has pitched in the postseason. He's the guy that's pitched recently. He's a guy that's very funky with his delivery. And then you can go and get some of these guys out. But when you're putting in Nestor Cortez, it's like you're basically handing Dave Roberts and the Dodgers the win. It was just such a stupid decision. Like, it's like putting in it's like, a backup quarterback, and I hate to change sports, but it's like, it's like you're putting in a quarterback, or it's like, yeah, you're putting in a backup quarterback because you're a starter, or yeah, you just put in your backup quarterback, and then he's never played, and you're trying to get a spark. Of course he's going to throw a pick. Like, what do you think? Like, he's never seen game action. So I know the game has been over for about like 25 minutes now, Ben. Like, that decision by Aaron Boone, like I don't even know what he was thinking. Like, when he put him in, I was like, yeah, it's over. It's over. Shohei, Mookie, or Freeman are going to do something, or Cortez is going to walk the bases loaded and then walk in a run because he's going to be super jittery and just super non-effective. Like, that decision right there, it makes no sense. Like, that, it just, you can't, like, you could try to analyze it any way you want. It just doesn't make any sense why Boone would put Cortez. And I think that showed that, that this World Series, it's his first World Series, and I think that this showed that he was too small for the moment tonight.
Yeah, 100%. This is, of course, where the expectations and everything essentially rise to that next level, and he got way too ahead of himself. And the biggest thing is he can respond tomorrow, and maybe the script that we were talking about, I said Yankees win game 1, Dodgers win game 2. Maybe it's the other way around, but the Dodgers at least had to win at least one of these. They could not go down 2-0 to go back to New York. The Yankees, on their other hand, this is a must win now. They essentially got their rips heart. I know it's only the first game, but you go down 2-0 back to New York. Yeah, you could, of course, try to get that back to make it 2-2, but you're playing with house money, and Yamamoto gets the chance down to pitch in game 2. If anything, I thought the Yankees bats would be able to hit more Flaherty than Yamamoto, but maybe it's the other way around. I thought Flaherty was fantastic as well as Cole. Another thing too, Isaiah, we got to talk about, and we talked about this yesterday. Aaron Judge has got to produce. What he has done in October so far, and I like Aaron Judge as a Red Sox fan, but I've seen this now countless times. And Yankee fans on Twitter and everywhere are really starting to lose patience with him. They love this guy. Of course, he's an MVP type of candidate, and he's absolutely phenomenal at what he does. But so far, in some big situations, including tonight, top of the ninth, trying to walk Soto to get to Judge for bases loaded, 2 outs. That's your time to be what you're getting paid to do and to have big hits. And what happens? He pops out. Like, sorry, man, you're getting paid all this money and you're supposed to be the captain, and it's just not working out. You struck out 3 times. I know you had the single. Congrats. You got to hit. You should be able to hit. You're one of the best hitters in the game. But when the times essentially, when you have the guys on base, that's what you're getting paid to do, and you're just not doing it right now. So, and we've talked about Aaron Judge, the low leverage, the less clutch situations has just not been there. So if the Yankees want to win the World Series, he needs to be the guy, because they have to be able to rely on him. It just can't be Stanton. It can't be Soto. It can't be these other guys. Aaron Judge has got to produce, and it has to produce now, because the excuses are going to keep on coming, and they can't. He's a lot better than this.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I thought that Aaron Judge was just very disappointing tonight. We kept waiting for the moment. We kept waiting for the moment where he would do something. He would announce his presence in the World Series, and it just never came. Like you mentioned, he had that one hit up the middle to center field. But other than that, I mean, he struck out. And here's the thing, Ben, that I had an issue with the Yankees hitters all night. The thing I had with the Yankees hitters is like, dude, number one, with the Yankees hitters, a lot of the pitches that Flaherty was throwing, like especially early, like a lot of them were high, low, outside, inside, and they were just swinging at it. I mean, Rizzo had his first at bat or his second at bat. It was awful. Like he swung at a pitch that was like 4 feet off the plate, and he hits a little lazy fly ball to shallow left field. Like, where's the plate discipline? I mean, Aaron Judge tonight, I know the sliders were tough to hit. I know it was spinning very well, but you swung at 3 pitches that were, in the dirt, and he swung and missed. So, like, I want to see better plate discipline from the Yankees moving forward. Judge, he definitely needs to respond. Like, look, you just got your heart, like you mentioned, ripped out from you. Like, now it's like a make or break game for the Yankees because you have to at least split one of those 2 games here in LA. You have a chance tomorrow going up against Yamamoto, who's never pitched in the World Series. This is his rookie year. Like, Aaron Judge, you got to go out and terrorize Yoshinobu Yamamoto tomorrow, and you got to like announce your presence to the world because Mookie did that. Freddie Freeman did that with his grand slam. Shohei did that tonight. Stanton did that with his massive home run. Judge was just quiet, and if the Yankees don't get any production, Ben, out of Aaron Judge, it's going to be over, and it's going to be over quick if they don't get any production whatsoever. But I do want to get into the 2 guys that you mentioned for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe and Jazz Chisholm. I thought that if the Yankees had won this game, I would have given them my MVPs because those 2 guys, I think we said this on our show last night, that they had to have huge series for the Yankees because they were the table setters, right? They're the guys that puts the ball in play. They are the guys that, are very fast, that, are that energy bunny in the middle of that lineup. Excluding the power. I thought Volpe, he did really good with his at bat. I know he was fooled a couple of times early against Trinan, but he never gave up. And Trinan, and this is the thing with Trinan, you're having a lot of success with the sweeper. It's obvious that Volpe cannot see it. There was a time, I think there was a pitch where he almost swung at a pitch that was like 8 feet or 10 feet off the plate in the ground. Like, he almost swung at that. Like, why not go back to it? But instead, you throw him a fastball and he's able to put it in play. And this is why people always say putting the ball in play is very important come postseason time because, like you mentioned, infield's drawn in. Volpe hits it up the middle. Edmund can't get to it. No double play. And Jazz Chisholm scores. But all of that was led because of Jazz Chisholm's speed. He gets on base, steals second, then steals third, and that's what makes it happen. So I do want to see more of that from Volpe and Chisholm moving forward. They're going to be absolutely huge moving forward going into this series because they're the ones that, have to get on base. They have to, provide the electricity on the base pads. So I do want to see more of that. Rizzo, I do want to see him have a little bit better at bats. I thought he was chasing a lot of pitches tonight out in the zone, but I think Ben.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I said, who did you say?
Rizzo.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought with Rizzo, like, I know he's been out a lot with that broken fingers, but I thought his at bats were very poor in terms of like he was just swinging like freely. He was just swinging at anything that was being thrown.
Who was it? Banda? That was an outside slider, and
yep.
that pitch was like
even like early. Flaherty threw him something that was like outside, and he just hits it like a lazy fly ball to left, and that was just awful. But the Yankees, they got to improve their at bats. Like some of these like at bats that you saw tonight, especially on the Judge strikeouts. It was just like, dude, it was not even in the zone, not even close to it. It was in the dirt. Rizzo's at bats. They just got to improve on that. And you just got to give more, you got to get sustained production from Volpe and Chisholm. If they can keep doing their thing, and if Judge can wake up, I think the Yankees will be fine. But I don't trust the Yankees bullpen now. I think that was one of the big questions going in was how will this Yankees bullpen outside of Weaver and Holmes hold up? And, I know we're going to criticize Boone for that stupid decision, but outside of that, I mean, Cousins came in. I didn't really trust him. Canley, Didn't really trust him. I mean, Tim Hill, I don't know. I thought he should have been in over Cortez, but I still wouldn't have trusted him. Like, that bullpen, is a mess right now for the Yankees, and they have to get it figured out.
Yeah, and I know the Dodgers were down a lot in this game, but I felt like it was only a matter of time. Like, they had so many guys on the pond, and this Dodgers lineup is just too good to just come up short so many times. And I just felt like from the 8th inning on, right? We talked about blown saves last night. It's so funny, Isaiah. Like, it felt like they listened to us in terms of at least the first game about like everything. You called Jazz Chisholm I can't even talk right now. I'm so like Jazz Chisholm stolen bases, right? He of course did that. The stars showing up, some of them at least. Freddie, of course, the walk-off, and Shohei, of course, hitting that double.
Yep. Almost a home run, too.
Who? Stanton?
No, Shohei. Like, he almost hit that home run,
Yep.
and I would have been like, wow, you called that perfectly.
Yep. Stan, of course, hit an absolute moonshot that was essentially right off the dirt. That was impressive. So, yeah, it had everything. For a game that was really a pitcher's duel from the start, it had everything. And this is why we love playoff baseball. Games like this, and I feel bad for people that don't love baseball. We were talking about, like, is this overall matchup good for baseball? I think it'll be okay. Just kind of seeing how at least today ended. So yeah, it had everything, man. And just if you want to talk about just as a fan, be on the edge of your seat, you really don't care in terms of what happens, and when you want to have good baseball, just watch this. Grab your popcorn, essentially grab your friends over, have a blast. And I saw a ton of reactions from people on Twitter, Yankee fans, Dodger fans, both fans of either team, and it was absolutely incredible. One more thing I wanted to mention to you, Isaiah, before if you had anything else you want to talk about. The fan interference in the top of the 9th inning. 2 outs at the top of the 9th, Gleyber Torres comes up. Now, originally, and it was actually, I don't know if you saw the Michael Kopech against Gleyber Torres stats, that Gleyber Torres had a home run against Kopech. I think it was the next pitch, Gleyber jacks one to left field, and I'm like, oh my God, of course it's going to happen. And then Joe Davis said, and the ball is gone. And then originally, like, I saw the fan catch it, but then they looked back, and the umpire in the outfield was essentially saying it was a ground rule double. And then you see people online and be like, well, you don't know, like, if he just leans over, that ball still could have went out, depending on how way he caught it. It was the right call. It was definitely the right call. I mean, it wasn't, of course, going to make any factor at this point in time because, the Yankees still had the chance. They were legitimately 1 out away from winning this overall game. Now, that's not the reason specifically they lost. The reason why they lost was Aaron Boone's idiotic managerial decision. You brought in essentially a pitcher that has not pitched at all in the postseason to go against one of the best hitters in baseball, even with one leg. If you're telling me Freddie Freeman, I don't care if it was, Joe Schmo out there. You essentially have to go with your best guy against Freddie Freeman if he has a one leg or not. This guy's absolutely goated. And I remember, actually, funny enough, the Red Sox against Freddie. The Red Sox actually, I think, were up in the game against the Dodgers. They're in LA. Very similar situation actually to the game tonight. And they brought in Brennan Bernardino, a left-handed reliever that we've been pretty trusted on for most of the season. And it was was it 2 outs or 1 out? I don't remember. And it was 1-0 Sox. This was the first weekend coming off of the All-Star break for us. And Freddie comes up, and what happens? Go ahead 3-run homer. And it was just a groove, like middle fastball, kind of like the pitch tonight. So I just thought it was really ballsy to have Boone go to best to walk him. And you're just like, Freddie could just get after one, man, and he did. So really happy for Freddie. Of course, he's gone through a lot of shit recently. And for him to pretty much put on one overall bat, man, just absolutely crazy. So really nothing else I can really say outside of that. Just great stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. Freddie, I mean, congratulations. He's been through absolutely a lot of stuff. So for him to get that moment, I mean, that's why we love sports. That's why we love baseball. And Yeah, I mean, Boone's decision, that's going to be second guessed for a long, long time. I mean, both you and I agree that was just so stupid and so idiotic. I mean, I don't think it even really mattered if you walked Mookie or if you didn't walk him. Like, I just felt like Cortez was going to give it up either way because he had not pitched in so long and he was just super rusty. So, but yeah, Dodgers, congratulations. Congrats, Loro, on an amazing win. This series is going to be, I mean, this is just the start, and I think we're in for a great one. But Ben, let's get into, before we sign off for the night, let's get into the game two preview. Tomorrow we have Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers, who is making his first World Series start, facing Carlos Rodon, making his first World Series start. Two pitchers that both the Yankees and Dodgers invested a lot in them in the off or in free agency. The Yankees desperately need to bounce back. Dodgers trying to take a 2-0 series heading back to LA. What are your keys to victory for the Yanks and keys to victory for the Dodgers? And ultimately, you can give your prediction on who do you think ends up winning this series or ends up winning this game.
Oh, the series, okay. Yeah. Biggest key for the Yankees, get ahead early and often. You got to be able to cash into your opportunities. They were this close when they were up 2-1 after the Stanton homer. Of course, Evan makes a phenomenal play. Heck, if that ball goes through the overall mid part of the field, maybe that game is different. But if you let this Dodger team and that lineup hang around, you're just asking for trouble, right? So, I think Aaron Judge, man, has to have a bounce back in game two, because he has not been great. Outside of the two homers, of course, the one he had against Class A, and of course the homer he had at home, he has not been good at all. Ton of strikeouts, a lot of hit or miss, and just he's had a ton of opportunities with guys on base, and he has not shown up. So he has to really show up in this one. And guys in the bottom half of that lineup, they just weren't doing much tonight. I know Volpe, of course, had to go ahead, but that was a ground ball right to Edman. Of course, he made a tough, bad play. Verdugo was abysmal. Wells still looked really lost out there. So they need to get some bottom half production, and just have their lineup be a lot more balanced than it was tonight. And of course, their bullpen. Who's going to be a consistent guy outside of Weaver? And Holmes, it was not good for him either. He got very bailed at Will Smith on the first pitch, swung, and he got fortunate there because he didn't look good really until that. Canley, of course, he's been fine, but yeah, the Yankees really just have to get up to a lead and really, I guess, I wouldn't say knock out Yamamoto early, but kind of make a statement. Because they have the backs against the wall. Now you're done 1-0 after what could have been them being up 1-0. So that's really what has to happen. Soto, Judge, pretty much that top half, they really got to click, and really cash in their opportunities to really, really get this down back to the Bronx 1-1. For the Dodgers, find a way. That's all. Now essentially you're playing loose. You're up 1-0, and protect home field. And now, if you get the chance to have Yamamoto, like he did last start against the Mets, keep on doing what he's doing. And I think Yamamoto is a ton of great out pitch stuff. And I think guys like Soto, guys like Judge, guys like Stanton, definitely Judge and Stanton are really susceptible to the splitter and susceptible to the outside pitch if you just pitch down to them. You cannot pitch up in the zone to them because you're asking for trouble. But Yamamoto definitely has that really good splitter. And if he gets that splitter going, just like Fleury did tonight with that slider away onto guys like Judge and guys like Stanton, I think they're going to have some success against this Yankees lineup. But the Yankees, they got to be able to hit with cash in with guys on base, make a statement early. Rodon has to go deep as well, too, because they used a ton of their bullpen arms tonight. And so Rodon has to go 6+, and then from there kind of see what happens. But if you're the Yankees, I think you have to go up to 4-5-1 in terms of a lead or something like that. You cannot let the Dodgers tonight hang around and give themselves an opportunity to do exactly what they did. And now is generally one swing of the bat go from a very close, exciting win to an excruciating loss. Because the Yankees have had a lot of close games throughout the playoffs, and they've been able to get fortunate and get away with a lot of these. But when you're facing a lineup like the Dodgers, it's just a new animal. No offense to the AL Central teams, right? But I knew for a fact when the bottom half of the Dodgers were able to get some guys on base, then you're like, okay, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Like, this is now the bad boys we're talking about here. And if the Yankees are able to get out of that, by all means, congrats to them. That's really big ball stuff. But they didn't. The Dodgers were able to pay for that just because of a couple things. So you got to be able to play very much, you got to be able to take advantage of what's to come. And I can't wait. There's essentially just so much to really wrap my head about after that first game. So Rodon has to shove. They got to cash in. And Yamamoto, if the Dodgers want to win, Yamamoto has to shove and just find a way. That's really it.
For me, I think the keys is simple for the Yankees. Aaron Judge, you got to show up. There's no more excuses like you talked about earlier. This is a World Series. You're the captain. They're paying you like $350 million. This is the World Series. You got to show up. There is no more excuses. You have to, you have to shake off all the past postseason failures and struggles and all of that stuff and actually show up for your team. Your team's been carrying you. Now you gotta share the load now with the Yankees down 1-0. So Aaron Judge, it's plain and simple. Show up. And if he doesn't show up again, like tonight, I think you're going to be talking about the Dodgers being up 2-0 heading back to New York for games 3, 4, and 5. And also, Rodon definitely got to go deep. Rodon's kind of been like hit or miss. There's some games he pitches extremely well, and then some games he pitches just awful. I think if you're Aaron Boone, Ben, I think you got to make the adjustment of, and this might be a wild take, but I would put Volpe and Chisholm at the bottom of your order. That way you can lengthen your lineup. You have Wells. I think Rizzo. I would put Rizzo 5th. I think Wells. Yeah, I would put. I think I would do that. I would put Volpe and Chisholm at the bottom of your order. That way, like with Chisholm's speed and with Volpe's ability to put the ball in play, and also his ability to bunt, and also his ability to get on base and also run the bases, I think that would be an electric combination. And then you could turn it over to your top of the order with guys like Gleyber Torres and then Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, to name the few. So I think, Aaron Boone, you might want to consider that, because your bottom of the order to get to, like, after Volpe and Chisholm, they haven't been doing anything, like you mentioned. So I think the Yanks might want to consider that. For the Dodgers, and I agree, with the Yanks, they got to get to Yamamoto early. You got to fluster Yamamoto. Look what happened when he pitched against the Padres in Korea. They got to him early. He was frustrated. He was flustered. And then Yamamoto basically finished the game, or he left the game after just getting 1 out. He's been flustered before. If a team gets to him early like the Padres did, you fluster him early. So you have to do that and be patient at the plate. For the Dodgers, I think it's, for Yamamoto, you got to throw strikes, because if you are wild early, I know this is the World Series, it's your first time pitching, Dodger Stadium, biggest stage. You dreamt of pitching in a World Series your entire life. You're finally going to get the opportunity to do it. Well, now, you're on the biggest stage. You got to perform and you got to throw strikes, because if you're wild early, the Yankees are going to take advantage. So he's definitely got to throw strikes, keep the ball down like Jack Flaherty did tonight. And then I think, the last takeaway for the Dodgers is just continue to be the Dodgers. Just continue to, perform with runners in scoring position, get on base. Ohtani, Freeman, Betts do their thing. And I think that, you'll be all set, because we know Freeman and Ohtani and Betts, we know that they're going to show up in the playoffs. For the Yankees, Soto showing up, Stanton showing up, it's Aaron Judge that is missing right now. So Aaron Judge has got to announce his presence to everybody tomorrow night, or else I think the Yankees, Ben, they're going to be flying back to New York down 2-0.
Yeah. I think, and we could talk about this after the game tomorrow if you want, but for me, I'm going to go with the Yankees. I think that they bounce back. I think Rodon has pitched pretty well so far in the playoffs. Yamamoto has been more hit or miss. And I trust Rodon, shockingly enough, more than Yamamoto in this overall start and this overall matchup. Now, both, of course, have not really pitched much in the World Series, so it's really kind of hard to gauge on who is going to be the better pitcher. But this is obviously why we're going to kind of figure this out. So, you know, I do think that watch for Andy Pages to start tomorrow because he is a righty against a lefty. They might take out. Oh man, I'm trying to think who would be the guy that they would take out.
Kike?
Not Kike, because Kike hits lefties well.
That's right.
I'm gonna have to go and think about that, but I think Pages is gonna get a chance to start against a lefty tomorrow. Remember, Manaea in the Mets series, Pages came up big in the Mets series. He had a couple homers, I think, in Game 5. So the guy has some pop, and maybe they put him off the bench and continue that. But watch for Pages to start tomorrow. Outside of that, I think most of the lineups are going to be very similar. Maybe they shape it up. Maybe for the Yankees, heck, if Aaron Judge, crazy to think, because Aaron Judge should be a number 3 hitter. Maybe put him down to like the 5 hole or something. Maybe just kind of like a reshape of that about it because Stan's been the much better hitter. Soto, I think you put Torres, Soto, Stanton, Judge. I know that's kind of crazy to think, or maybe put Jazz 4, Judge 5, because it's just like if Judge, I understand Judge should be in the number 3 hole. I'm obviously not disputing that, but with the way the playoffs have been going, right, for him. Sometimes you just need to have go down the order. It feels like the pressure is just really, really hitting him. And, guys in the ponds, you're going to get your pitches. And if you're missing these pitches, I mean, we could talk about Judge, all of his great, stats throughout the regular season. But until he wins the big, all that stuff, I'm not saying doesn't matter. But this is when you talk about legacies on the line. Legacies come into play really big here. And like you talked about, if the Yankees want to win tomorrow, now tonight, he has to step up and really prove himself because right now, throughout most of this playoffs, he has not done it.
No. And we're not talking about like show up in terms of like you getting your measly little singles. No, you got to get like a home run. You got to get like a big hit.
Your timely hits, essentially. You look at the greats for the Yankees, Derek Jeter, right? What did Derek Jeter do so well? He was an RBI king. Every single time when guys are on base, the guy worked great at bats, and he always had an idea in terms of hitting the ball specifically. Wasn't always have to be a home run. I feel like Aaron Judge is pressing too much to always hit the homer ball, right? And it's always been that way. I know, of course, in the regular season, when you're facing a lot of kind of crazy, situations and stuff, it's going to happen. You could definitely get on a run, stuff like that. But, just he got to really turn it up, man, if they really want to have a chance to win this all.
No, I totally agree. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, they have to do something at that bottom of the order because right now the 8th, 9th hole is not working. Like Wells is an automatic out, sadly. Verdugo. I mean, Verdugo, listen, I got to give him credit. That defensive play he made on Shohei tonight, incredible. Incredible stuff.
Kike in the bottom of the 9th and the Shohei catch. That could have been one of the catches to look back on if the Yankees win the game. Because I know, of course, if Verdugo, doesn't get to that ball, right, or he somehow drops it, the ball wasn't going to be fair. But maybe Shohei gets another chance on the next pitch or the pitch after that he could do damage on. So at the time, it looked like, the Yankees had a lot of clutch situations that they had when the Dodgers had guys in the pond. And it all came down to Aaron Boone going to Nestor. Bases loaded. That's essentially was going to be the massive turning point. And if the Yankees don't win the next one, we could look back at this one as well and be like, that could have been one that they kind of slipped away. And, it's going to be a long series. We both had it going 7. But, winning the first game is, of course, takes a lot of pressure off to try to get that second game. Because essentially when you look at an overall series, game 1, of course, is kind of the lead part of the series. Most of the times than not, if you get the good chance to win the first game, You know, you can kind of play on your own terms. The second game pretty much is I wouldn't say that swing game, but it's essentially if you're the team that is behind, right, like the Yankees are, you've got to find a way to get it back. If you're the Dodgers, you essentially are trying to go for the kill shot and go 2-0 back to their barn and try to specifically at least steal one over there and go for the swing game for game 3. So there's so many different obstacles that are coming, and this is why, of course, this is going to be a crazy and interesting series, is because I just feel like for these 7 games, there's going to be so many turning points throughout the overall games, the pregame, the postgame, the physical outcome of these games like we saw tonight. So it's going to have everything, and just be prepared for it all, because this is, of course, just the start and only the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. For me, for the prediction, I don't know, Ben, if you gave your prediction yet or not, but I'm gonna go with the Yankees to win. Oh, you did?
I'd be shocked if the Yankees go down 2-0. As much as I'd love to see it. I think it's going 7, and for the Yankees, for it to go 7, the Yankees definitely at least have to split one. So I think they're going to do it now tonight.
Yeah, I got to go with the Yankees as well, because I mean, Rodon and Yamamoto are both like kind of similar, where you don't really know what you're gonna get on any given outing. Both guys have been very hit or miss. I think with the Yankees, look, Yamamoto shut down the Yankees at Yankee Stadium that last time, but I think as the game wore on, I thought the Yankees got better at bats as it kept going on and on and on. So I think that they know what they've seen him before, so they know what to expect, and I think they'll be able to get after him early. I have a feeling Yamamoto, especially on the biggest stage, Ben, I think with that adrenaline, I think he's going to be flustered early. Like, I think it's going to be a situation kind of like Korea, where he's very wild. He throws a lot of pitches high, low, not in the strike zone. And then I think the Yankees are able to get a lot of guys on base, and I think they get the timely hits to take advantage of it. And then I think that, Rodon settles down, especially with a lead. And I think that he's able to go pretty deep into the game. I'll give him like 6 innings. And then I want to say, I don't know why I have a feeling that Aaron Judge is going to go off tomorrow. Like, especially after that loss, especially after he struck out 3 times, he got humiliated tonight.
It eventually has to happen, because
right.
I feel like a broken record though for saying this, that it's going to be the Judge game and he's going to break out at some point. And even like when he hit that homer against Class A, everyone's like, "Oh, he's back, right? He's going to start turning the corner. Things look to be kind of going his way." And he never proved himself after. He kind of went back to that overall funk of the uppercut, the bad plate approach, failing at pitches on these, the pitches away. So it's all about consistency with him. And he just really has to kind of settle himself and not try to do too much, because that's what he's really been doing. And if you're pressing as their over one of the main hitters and one of their stars, and really quickly, speaking of Judge, before I go back to you, Isaiah, Aaron Judge had some interesting comments after the game, essentially saying, with a little bit of a smirk, saying it's just a game. It's just a game. Dude, you legitimately are the last person right now to say that, because you are one of the stars. It's the World Series. It's your first time in the World Series. And the fact you're saying after only the first game, it's just a game and to move on. No, sometimes you just got to take accountability and be like, listen, I want to go for that championship. I'm eager. This is my first time. It feels like forever. And I let my team down. Something like that. But instead you have a smirk and saying, it's just a loss and move on to tomorrow. I don't know, right? Yeah, it sucks that you lose and you just got to move on. But after it's one thing if you've been performing all playoffs, but to do that with a little smirk and not doing anything when a lot of your fan base and a lot of your team really needs you, something tells me that's kind of a tough look. I don't know. That's just me, maybe.
Well, here's what I think about that though, Ben. I think that for that statement, it could be a precursor to Judge having a like monster moment. Because you remember athletes saying like, "It's just a game," and then they have that smirk on their face, and it's like, "Oh, I'm coming for you." Or we could look back on this basically being like, "Dude, like you're just so nonchalant," and then like that's why you lost the World Series, because it's on you, like you said. There's no urgency. It's too nonchalant. Like, the thing with Judge is he's got to perform. I think that is the main key for this series is he's got to perform. And if he doesn't respond tomorrow, then that quote, everybody's going to be blasting him. But if he does respond, then it's going to be something that will be a memorable thing for years to come. But I think this series now rests on the back of Aaron Judge. It really depends on what he does. If he comes out and has a stinker, it's over. Like game 2, it'll be over. It'll be 2-0 heading back to New York. If Aaron Judge has a measly series, we're gonna all look back as this is a series where Aaron Judge was too small for the moment. But if he comes up big, then like you said, it just feels like, when is that Judge game? I think we're all looking forward to it. Like, when is that Aaron Judge game? It has to come. Like, he can't be cold this much, especially in the playoffs. He's too talented. He's too big time for that. But he's got to show up and he's got to respond tomorrow night.
Yeah, we can't wait, man. But I think that's going to conclude for our post-game show for tonight. Isaiah, thanks for starting one. I really appreciate it. If you obviously want to do the outro, the video, of course, we have from last night, and of course, the walk-off from tonight's game for those that want to see it once again, by all means, we will show it to you guys. But thank you guys. We've, of course, have done a ton of coverage throughout this overall week, me and Isaiah, and we'll keep on giving it to you because this is going to be, like we mentioned, and we're keep on saying it, the World Series for the agent, it feels like forever. So we're going to keep on giving you as much of the in-game, post-game, pre-game coverage as we can because we can't wait and we want to give it to you guys. And we'll still try to see what we can do about a watch party. Heck, if the series goes deeper and kind of what we're thinking about, I think we'll kind of start talking about those. But at least for the time being, these will kind of do it for now. And, of course, all the great videos that we can bring you guys as well. So just overall final thoughts. Fantastic post game, and just what a great first game to start off this World Series. And just game 2, it's just going to be another one, I think, for the ages as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you said. I'm going to go Yankees tomorrow to win. I think they bounce back. Judge has a monster game, and that's going to be the Aaron Judge game. But yeah, guys, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're looking forward to game 2 tomorrow. What an absolute great start to these World Series. Game 1 was phenomenal. Hopefully game 2 can be, as good as tonight and maybe even better, which will, it would be crazy. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. We may or may not do a post-game show tomorrow. I do have to work during the game, so we'll see what happens. But if we do a post-game show, we'll let you know. What's that?
I can do a post-game if needed to, if you want to come on, after work or whatever, because I'll be around tomorrow. So.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm thinking about probably doing Ben. I'm thinking about probably doing post-game shows like after every game if we don't do a watch party, because I know all these games are probably going to be electric. So, if we'll probably have a game 2 post-game show. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But it's been a great show. This is Isaiah and Ben. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, and man, we'll see you after game 2.
Tonight,
an electric game 2.
Just want to remember it, Isaiah, if you want to give you the final score from game 1.
The final score?
Yeah.
6-3, and we'll play the walk-off for you after that.
There we go. 6-3 for those that just want to remember the final score. If you guys were just coming in now. Dodgers 6, Yankees 3.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. Goodbye.
Fernando ready, and the strike 2 pitch is hit back to the box, dribbling to second. Samuel on the bag, throws to first, double play.
Hit toward the hole. Jeter backhands from the outfield grass. Got him. He's done it.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
There's a drive. It's a bullet. Was there any doubt? Shohei Ohtani arrives in October. Judge takes one. Deep left field. A grand slam. And the Yankees have the lead.
Here's Ramon Lewis. Nice play by Volpe. Got him.
Swing to right center field. Diving play. A walk-off catch. Mookie.
Castillo, Soto, a high fly ball to center. Thomas backing up. Thomas at the track. And Juan Soto. A 3-run home run. Is 2-0. Is
Into center field, and that's the ball game. 2-2 on Stanton with Judge at first. And a swing and a miss for strike three. Got him swinging! A 6-out save for Luke Weaver.
Freeman reached both times in this one. He's going to reach again, but off the center field goes Soto. Here comes Ohtani. Here comes the throw from Nimmo.